Hello and welcome to Lost Love Chronicles.
Dear listeners, before we get started, drop a quick hi in the comments and let us know where you're tuning in from. Also, if you have any suggestions for us to make the channel better, please let us know. Now let's start with the story. I didn't realize the night I got arrested would end with 3 cracked ribs and a felony charge. 10 minutes earlier, I'd just been walking home from a house party with my best friend, Jordan. We'd been laughing earlier in the night, talking trash about old teachers and dumb stuff from school, but as we left the party, my phone rang. It was my mom. She was already mad I'd stayed out late. "You said you'd be home by 10, she snapped in my ear. I know, I said, pinching the bridge of my nose. I lost track of time. I'm on my way now. You always say that. You don't care how worried I get. It's like talking to a wall. Jordan was a few steps behind me. He tapped my shoulder and said, "Hey, I'm going to stop at the gas station, grab a beer." I just nodded, barely paying attention. I kept walking ahead, pacing the sidewalk while my mom's voice climbed in volume. "I can't do this again, Travis. I'm tired of being the only one who gives a damn," she said. I said I'm coming home. I muttered, trying not to sound too loud or too angry. A few minutes later, Jordan caught up with me. He was slightly out of breath. "Man, line was long," he said, then noticed me shivering and handed me his jacket. "Here, take this. You're freezing." "Thanks," I said, pulling it on without thinking. We didn't even make it 4 blocks before the cop cars swarmed. Lights, sirens, tires screeching. "What the hell?" I started, but it was too late. They tackled me hard, slammed me down so fast I didn't even have time to scream. My face hit the pavement. A knee drove into my back. I can't breathe." I gasped. "Where's the weapon? Where's the mask?" someone shouted. What weapon?" I coughed. They cuffed me before I could say another word. My ribs felt like they'd cracked on impact. At the station, everything blurred. They sat me down, slid grainy surveillance stills in front of me. "That you?" the cop asked. It was a figure in a hoodie and mask, mid-robbery. I didn't answer. "Jacket looks familiar," he said. My eyes dropped. The jacket did look familiar. It was familiar. It was Jordan's. Except now it was on me. My fingerprints weren't on the register, but it didn't matter. Later, they found cash stashed in my room. I hadn't seen it before. I found out Jordan had hidden it there. He visited me once. Just once. Sat across from me behind that thick glass. Picked up the phone. "I panicked," he said. "I didn't think it would go this far." My hands curled into fists. "Just do the time. It's juvie, man. You'll be out in no time." I wanted to scream, but I was 17. I didn't have proof. Just a broken body, a public defender, and a judge who looked right at me and said, "We need to make an example of you." I spent 9 months in juvie. When I got out, everything was different. The world had moved on. My mom, she didn't fully believe me. She said she wanted to, but there was always a hesitation in her eyes. My friends didn't text, didn't call. My record followed me like a shadow. No one wanted to hire a kid with a felony. So I did what I could, cleaning, warehouse gigs, loading trucks, whatever paid cash. And Jordan? He was doing great. He had a job, a car. He even started dating someone I used to like back in school. I tried not to care. Then one night, scrolling on a cousin's Instagram, I saw it. A photo. Jordan. From the night of the party. Wearing the same jacket he gave me. Same patch. Same rip on the cuff. I checked the timestamp. Same night. Same hour. My chest tightened as I pulled up the police report. The times matched. My hands were shaking. I spent the next week tracking everything. Jordan's location check-ins. Any and all photos taken and posted the night of the robbery. Scrolling, zooming, checking metadata. I barely slept. Then I remembered the hardware shop across the street from that gas station. I went in the next morning, heart pounding. An older woman stood behind the counter. "Hi," I said, trying to sound calm. "I'm doing a school project on surveillance tech, and I was wondering, do you keep any old footage from your security cameras?" She narrowed her eyes. "We don't usually delete stuff. My dad was kind of a hoarder, wouldn't let us get rid of anything, especially not hard drives." She walked into the back and came out with a dusty USB. "Try this," she said. "Might be what you're looking for." I took it, nodded. "Thank you." Seriously, back at home, I plugged it in and scrubbed through hours of footage. And then, there, a guy, matching Jordan's build, wearing that jacket, same patch, same rip, walking into the gas station. The exact minute the robbery happened. And me? I was in the background, pacing outside on the phone. I packaged it all up and emailed it to my old public defender. No response. So I reached out to a local legal clinic. One that helps with wrongful convictions. Matt, a volunteer attorney, agreed to meet me at a coffee shop. He was young, maybe in his early 30s, but sharp. As he looked over the footage and timestamps, his brow furrowed. "You've got something here," he said. "This might qualify for a post-conviction review." Then it got worse. Jordan found out. He He showed up outside the warehouse where I worked. Waited until break. Travis, he barked. I turned, heart already thudding in my chest. He grabbed my arm, pulled me behind the stack of pallets. What the hell are you doing? He hissed. Why are you digging this up? I reached into my pocket, hit record on my phone. You're going to ruin my life again, he said. You already took the fall. Just let it go. I didn't say a word. He stepped closer. You think anyone's going to believe you now? You're a felon. I'm a manager. That night, I posted a photo of the jacket. The timestamps. Said nothing else. Just still think I wore this? Jordan panicked. He ran into an alumni group chat, claimed I was stalking him, harassing him, said I was obsessed. People started taking sides. I stayed quiet until I released the full audio recording. The legal team took it from there. They filed to have the case reopened. Jordan was subpoenaed. And under pressure, he got sloppy. He arranged a last-ditch meeting with Matt. Had no idea Matt was recording too. Jordan leaned forward across the table and said, even if I did it, they already locked him up. What more do you want? That was it. The footage, the photo, the recordings. It all added up. The judge overturned my conviction. My record was cleared. Jordan got charged with obstruction and robbery. I watched from the back of the courtroom as they cuffed him. He broke down, tears and all. It was a mistake, he cried. I was just a kid. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I didn't say anything. The community started reaching out. Old teachers, co-workers, even my mom. She cried when the news broke. But I didn't feel proud. I just felt tired. That night, I got a message request from someone I didn't know. You don't know me, but I think your friend did the same thing to my brother last year. Want to talk? I stared at the screen. Then I typed. Yeah, I do. The message was from a girl named Tessa. She lived about 2 hours away. Her brother, Aaron, was doing 18 months for a break-in at a pharmacy. She said the details were too similar to ignore. I called her that night. She picked up on the first ring. Her voice was shaky but determined. Hi, Travis. Yeah, this is me. I said. I got your message. Thank you for calling, she said quickly, then took a breath. I don't know where to start. Just tell me what happened. She launched into it. Told me Aaron had been hanging out with Jordan the summer before my arrest. They'd met at some basketball camp. One night, Jordan convinced Aaron to come along while he picked something up from the pharmacy. Jordan went in alone, she said. Aaron waited in the car. He thought it was legit, just some errand. I could hear her voice tremble through the receiver. Then alarms started going off. Jordan came sprinting out, threw a bag in the back seat, and yelled at him to drive. I closed my eyes, already sensing where this was going. Aaron panicked, she said. He drove. They got pulled over 3 blocks away. The bag had pills, prescription stuff, and cash. And Jordan? I asked, even though I already knew the answer. Told the cops it was all Aaron's idea. Said he forced him to come along. Aaron had a shoplifting charge from when he was 14. The cops believed Jordan. Let me guess. Jordan walked. She sighed. Yeah, he walked. I felt sick listening to her. The pattern was right there. Jordan, picking vulnerable friends, setting them up, walking away clean. Tessa said she'd been trying to help Aaron appeal, but no one would listen. I saw your story on social media, she told me. When everything blew up, your conviction, the reversal, I knew you'd understand. We talked for 3 hours that night. She had some evidence, but not enough. Aaron remembered Jordan wearing gloves that night, she said. Said he seemed to know exactly where the cameras were. But it's all circumstantial, I muttered. Yeah, she said. I've hit a wall. I told her I'd help however I could. The next day, I started digging into Jordan's past. I reached out to people from his old schools, his old jobs. Most people didn't want to talk. Some hung up. Others gave short, awkward answers. But a few did talk. There was Wesley, from Jordan's freshman year. He got expelled for stealing from the school store. He was with me, Wesley said. Jordan was with me. But he told the dean he wasn't. That I acted alone. Then there was Darla. She worked with Jordan at a restaurant. Money went missing on my shift, she said bitterly. They fired me. Jordan got promoted a week later. The stories kept coming. Little things. Big things. Always the same pattern. Jordan would befriend someone, get close, and when something went wrong, they'd take the fall. I started documenting everything. Creating timelines. Drawing connections. Tessa was doing the same on her end. We'd text each other updates during the day, compare notes at night. It became routine. Then Jordan's mom called me. I stared at the screen when I saw her name. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity won. Her voice was tight, with emotion. Travis, he's not doing well. Why are you calling me? I asked. She sniffled. He's falling apart. Nightmares. He keeps talking about making things right. Maybe if you talk to him. I can't do that, I said, cutting her off. Please, she begged. He's not sleeping. He's scared. He knows he messed up. I hung up. 10 minutes later, Jordan texted me. Can we talk? I want to explain. Apologize. For real this time. I took a screenshot and sent it to Tessa. She called immediately. "Don't go alone," she said, her voice sharp. "It could be a trap. You know how he works." "I know," I said, "but I want to hear what he has to say. In person. Then do it somewhere public," she warned. "Lots of people. Cameras." I agreed. We picked a coffee shop downtown. Public place. Bright lighting. Witnesses. I got there early. Sat at a table where I could see the door. And I recorded everything on my phone. Jordan showed up looking rough, dark circles under his eyes, hands shaking as he walked through the door. He spotted me immediately and slid into the seat across from me without a word of greeting. He didn't even wait. "I was 12 when my dad left," he said. His voice was low, flat. "Just gone one day. No note, nothing. My mom had to work 3 jobs to keep the lights on." I didn't say anything. I just watched him. He looked down at the table. I felt invisible, like I didn't matter. Then one day I realized I was good at something. He met my eyes. Lying. Manipulating. Surviving. He said it like it was a talent. At first, it was small stuff, blaming other kids for things I did. Teachers believed me. Parents believed me. I got out of trouble, got ahead. He gave a little laugh, bitter and hollow. Then it became a game, seeing how much I could get away with, how far I could push it. I stayed quiet, let him talk. By high school, it was just who I was. Find someone trusting, someone who needed a friend. Use them. Discard them. Move on. He finally looked at me again. "I'm sorry, Travis. I've been in therapy. I'm trying to fix things. I want to make amends." I stared at him for a long moment, then asked, "What about Aaron?" His face went pale. Just like that, the color drained from it. "That was different," he said quickly. "He was already planning the break-in. I just went along." I pulled out my phone and turned the screen to him. "Tessa sent me this. The messages. The timeline. She's been tracking everything." His eyes flicked over the screen, and I saw the exact moment his confidence cracked. "That's not. Look, Aaron was careless. He got caught. That's on him." I didn't. His voice trailed off. He was flustered now, defensive. "You don't know the full story." And I realized then he wasn't sorry. He was scared. Scared I'd keep digging. Scared more people would come forward. Scared his whole life would unravel. "You need to confess," I told him, "on what you did. To me. To Aaron. To everyone else." He stared at me, then let out a short laugh. "Confess? To what? You think anyone's gonna believe a bunch of criminals trying to clear their names? Please." I was about to respond when I noticed something. He kept checking his phone, glancing at the door, fidgeting, but not just out of guilt. It was something else. Something twitchy, nervous in a different way. I stood up. "Bathroom," I said. He nodded absently, already back to texting. I walked past the bathroom and went straight to the front window. That's when I saw it. A car parked across the street. Someone sitting inside, watching, waiting. I felt the adrenaline spike in my chest. I went back to the table. Jordan was typing something fast, his thumbs tapping frantic on the screen. I grabbed my stuff. "I'm leaving." He stood. "No, wait, we're not done talking." I pushed past him, my pulse pounding. Outside, I didn't stop. I walked fast, then broke into a jog. I could hear footsteps behind me. I started running, made it to my car, yanked the door open, slammed it shut, locked it, looked up. Jordan and another guy were standing on the sidewalk, just watching me drive away. That night, I changed the locks. Every click of the drill, every turn of the screwdriver felt like a lifeline. I called Tessa, told her everything. She didn't sound surprised. "Aaron's been getting threats in prison," she said. "Inmates warning him to stop talking, to let the case go." "It's Jordan," I said. "I know," she replied. But proving it was another thing entirely. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept checking the windows. Every sound made me flinch. I lay in the dark, gripping my phone. This was bigger than I'd thought. Jordan wasn't just some kid who made a few mistakes. He was calculating, organized, dangerous. The next morning, I found my tires slashed. All 4. No cameras in the lot. No witnesses. Just a piece of paper under the wiper. "Stay quiet or things get worse." I called Tessa again. My hands were shaking. "Maybe we should stop," I said. "Think about our safety." She didn't hesitate. "Aaron's already lost everything," she said. "If we stop now, he rots in prison for nothing." She was right. But I was scared. Really scared. And I knew this was just the beginning. I spent the next few days constantly looking over my shoulder. Every car that slowed down too much made my stomach twist. Every unknown number that called. I just stared at the screen and let it ring until it went to voicemail. I'd delete the message without listening. Immediately. No hesitation. I didn't want to hear Jordan's voice or whoever he'd gotten to do his dirty work this time. I started changing up my routine. Different routes to work. Doubling back through side streets. Checking my mirrors constantly. Parking in different places each day. Sometimes walking an extra 3 blocks just to avoid forming patterns. Basic stuff, but it helped me breathe. Barely. My apartment didn't feel safe anymore. Not really. I installed a new deadbolt, one of those thick, industrial ones. The locksmith had said, someone have to want it real bad to break through this. That made me feel slightly better. Slightly. I added a security bar to the sliding glass door. Bought one of those video doorbells too. But instead of feeling secure, I just sat there, obsessively checking the feed, rewinding, watching the same delivery drivers drop off the same boxes over and over. Every new delivery person felt suspicious. Every neighbor I didn't recognize became a potential threat. Then one night, Tessa called. I could hear something in her voice, excitement, but tight, restrained, like she was holding back hope that she didn't want crushed. I think I found someone, she said. Another one? I asked, already reaching for my notebook. Her name's Jenna. She went to community college with Jordan. Something happened with her final exam. It's bad. She told me everything. Jenna had been accused of cheating. A professor found answer keys in her backpack during a random bag check. She swore up and down she didn't put them there, Tessa said. Begged them to believe her. No one did. Jenna failed the class. Lost her scholarship. Dropped out. Jesus, I muttered, rubbing my eyes. She said Jordan had been super helpful that week. Tessa continued. Studying with her in the library. His backpack broke, so he borrowed hers. You already know where this is going, right? Of course I did. Tessa had reached out to Jenna. And now? Jenna was furious. The kind of fury that comes from years of silence. From being told you were the problem when you weren't. From being gaslit so hard you start to question your own memory. We set up a group chat. Me, Tessa, and Jenna started sharing everything we knew. Piece by piece, we built a timeline of Jordan's cons, his setups. And it went back further than I ever expected, middle school, even. Always the same pattern. The helpful friend. The convenient access. The perfect setup. The devastating fallout. For everyone, except Jordan. As Jenna got more comfortable, she shared more. He dated my roommate for a while. She said one night in the group chat. Used to hang around our dorm all the time. Acted super casual. But now I realize he was just learning the layout. She told us how he knew exactly which professor did surprise bag checks. He suggested I bring my backpack that day. Notebooks are too easy to lose, he said. I didn't think twice. Every detail, every move, had been orchestrated. Then Wesley reached out. He'd seen the stuff I'd posted. The updates. The fragments of stories. I've been following, he wrote. I was one of the first. I want to help. He had old text messages. Screenshots. Messages of Jordan planning things. Talking about easy marks, perfect setups. The way he wrote about it chilled me, like he was planning a party, not framing people for crimes. Our group grew. First 4, then 5, when Darla joined. Then 6, 7, 8. Every few days, another person came forward. Someone Jordan had burned. Someone ready to speak up. Each story another puzzle piece. Another crack in the mask. Another confirmation. This wasn't coincidence. This wasn't misunderstanding. It was deliberate. Calculated. Repeated. Jordan must have noticed. The old posts resurfacing. The stories being shared. The comments piling up. Because suddenly, he changed tactics. He posted this long, emotional story online. About mental health. About being bullied. About how he'd made mistakes as a kid. Everyone deserves forgiveness, he wrote. Second chances. People bought it. The comments section exploded with sympathy. Support. Others turned on us. Called us cyberbullies. Said we were digging up someone's past to punish them for things they'd already paid for. Some of Jordan's old friends came out of the woodwork, defending him. You guys are just bitter, one wrote. Looking for someone to blame for your own failures. A witch hunt, another said. That's what this is. Against a good person who made a few mistakes. It was frustrating. Watching him flip the narrative. Watching people believe it. But we kept collecting evidence. We kept building our case. Every new person who joined brought something. Receipts, old texts, screenshots, photos, witnesses. It was all starting to pile up. It was starting to look like something real, something solid. Then things got weird. At work, my supervisor pulled me aside during lunch. He shut the office door, leaned against the desk. Hey, he said, lowering his voice. Someone called earlier asking about you. I blinked. What? Yeah. Said they were from a background check company. Wanted to know if you were reliable. If you'd ever had anger issues. If you'd threatened anyone. What? I said again, but sharper now. He frowned. I thought it was weird. So I asked them for the name of their agency. They hung up. I just nodded, jaw clenched. That same day, Tessa texted me in all caps. My MLM got a call. Collection agency. They're saying I owe thousands. Later she called. Her voice was trembling. They told her I was in serious debt. Said they'd garnish my wages. That I'd get sued. My mom's already stressed about Aaron. This pushed her over the edge. Travis. She started crying. It's fake, I said. They're trying to rattle you. I know, she whispered. But it's working. Then it happened to Jenna. Her ex-boyfriend suddenly got messages from a fake profile, photos that looked like her with another guy. Jordan's behind it, she said over the phone, her voice raw. They're edited. You can see the edges are messed up, but still. He believed it. We fought for hours. I had to dig through every photo on my phone, show him the originals. We realized Jordan was retaliating, using anything he'd learned about us over the years, secrets, vulnerabilities, connections, to destabilize our lives. It was working. 2 members of our group went silent. Just stopped replying. One of them texted me privately a week later. I can't deal with this. I'm sorry. It's too much. The other just vanished. That's when I got even more paranoid. I started documenting everything. Every strange phone call. Every online message. Every weird encounter. I made a spreadsheet. Dates, times, call durations, phone numbers, screenshots. Anything that smelled off. Tessa was doing the same. Every night, we'd get on the phone or message each other, compare notes, try to predict what Jordan might pull next. The stress was eating me alive. I wasn't sleeping. I was snapping at coworkers. My focus was shot. Then Tessa called one night, her voice tight, shaken. Aaron called, she said. From prison. I sat up. What happened? He said some guy approached him in the yard. Offered to make his problems disappear if he just stopped talking about Jordan. I felt my stomach drop. Did he say who it was? No name. But when Aaron refused, the guy told him, accidents happen in prison all the time. I didn't say anything. Just listened. He described stuff. Like, very specific ways people get hurt. It wasn't some idle threat. Tessa was terrified. She wanted to get Aaron moved to protective custody, but that took money. Lawyers. Time. All things we didn't have. I decided to try a different angle. One we hadn't explored yet. I reached out to Jordan's ex-girlfriend, Madison. They'd dated senior year. I remembered the breakup being bad, though no one knew the details. She agreed to meet. We picked a quiet restaurant downtown. She seemed nervous from the start, eyes flicking around like she was half expecting Jordan to show up at any second. He used to gaslight me constantly, she said, her fingers tight around her water glass. Made me feel like I couldn't trust my own memory, my own instincts. She told me about the night money went missing from her mom's purse. Family dinner. Everyone was there. Jordan convinced them my little brother took it, she said. The kid was 12. He got grounded for months. My parents didn't trust him for a long time after that. Months later, she found the money in Jordan's car. When she confronted him, he acted like she was the problem. He said he was just holding it, that I was overreacting, that I was trying to sabotage our relationship. She had the texts from that time, the ones where he admitted to taking things. Lying. Nothing specific about framing people, but it showed his mindset. His pattern. She looked down. I still feel guilty for what happened to my brother. Our relationship's never been the same. My parents still bring it up sometimes. She agreed to share the messages and photos with the group. I've been carrying this too long, she said. Maybe it's time someone made him answer for it. That night, after I got home, I heard something. I looked out the window. Jordan was standing in the parking lot, just staring up at my window. I watched him through the blinds for 20 minutes. He didn't move. Not once. Just stood there, hands in his pockets, expression blank, staring straight up at my window. I called the police. Told them there was a man outside my apartment, just watching. They showed up 15 minutes later. By then, Jordan was gone. No crime in standing in a public space, the officer said with a shrug. Call again if he does anything threatening. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the hallway, every gust of wind, made me jump. I kept checking the blinds, the locks, the doorbell cam. The next morning, I found a note on my windshield. You're making a mistake. This ends badly for everyone. No name. But I didn't need one. The handwriting was jagged, rushed, angry. I kept the note, added it to the folder I'd been compiling, printouts, screenshots, texts, videos, evidence. I showed Tessa. Her face went still. I got one too, she said quietly. So did Jenna, she added a second later. That's when Tessa brought up the idea. What if we get him to admit it again, she said, but this time better. Controlled. With witnesses. Real audio. Something undeniable. It was risky, but we were running out of time. Aaron's situation inside was deteriorating fast. Jordan was escalating. We needed something solid. Something you couldn't explain away or manipulate. We started planning. Hours of planning. Jenna would reach out. Say she wanted to apologize, move on, get closure. Ask Jordan to meet her somewhere neutral. I'd be nearby, hidden, recording everything. Tessa would be stationed farther back. Wesley and Darla would blend in with the crowd. We even made contingency plans. What if he brought backup? What if he got violent? What if he didn't show? But Jordan agreed. Maybe he was overconfident. Or maybe curious. He said he'd meet Jenna at the park, just a quiet little spot by the duck pond. Public, but not busy. Perfect. I arrived early. Sat on a bench, slipped my phone into my jacket pocket with the camera peeking out. Tested the audio twice. Battery at 100%. Tessa parked in the lot, eyes on everything. Wesley and Darla waited by the playground, pretending to be on a walk. Everyone checked in by text. Ready. In position. Battery full. Jenna showed up right on time. Sat at the bench near the pond, legs crossed, face calm but tense. She'd rehearsed her lines over and over the night before. I knew she was nervous, but determined. Jordan showed 5 minutes later. He approached slow, sat down, leaving a deliberate few feet between them. I'm really glad you reached out, he said. Been thinking about the past. About making amends. His voice was syrupy, smooth. That same performative sincerity I remembered from courtrooms and hallway apologies. Jenna nodded. Played it just right. I've been struggling since college, she said. Losing that scholarship, it changed everything. I need to understand. Why did it happen? Jordan looked at her like he pitied her. Misunderstandings, he said. We were young. People make mistakes. The system overreacts. He was good. Too good. Almost convincing if you didn't know better. Then Jenna asked the question. The one we'd planned, practiced, timed just right. Jordan, she said, voice steady. Did you put those answer keys in my backpack? His smile faltered. His whole body stiffened. You're trying to trap me, he said. This is a setup. He stood, looked around. Suspicious now. Paranoid. That was my cue. I stood from my bench and walked forward, letting the light catch the phone still recording in my hand. Jordan froze. He looked around and saw Tessa approaching from the sidewalk. Wesley and Darla closing in from opposite ends of the path. He realized what was happening, that he wasn't in control, that this wasn't like the other times. He bolted. Not far. Just around the corner of the path, toward the parking lot. But waiting there, 2 more people from our group. Word had spread. People Jordan had hurt, lied to, manipulated. They wanted to be there. To see him caught. To see the mask slip. He spun in place, trapped, and ended up back where he started, at the bench. Surrounded. We didn't touch him. Didn't block him physically. We didn't have to. We just stood there. 8 people. Phones raised. All recording. Jordan's face twisted. He broke down, but not like you'd think. Not crying. Not regret. It was rage. You're all losers, he snapped. You deserved it. Every one of you. You were weak. Easy. I'm smarter than all of you. The mask was off. The real Jordan, in full. Then he said it. The thing we needed. Yeah, I set you all up. So what? Jordan sneered, his voice rising as he looked from face to face, eyes wild. You think anyone cares? You think this matters? I'll just deny it later. Say you all ganged up on me, edited the videos. He was practically spitting the words. His years of manipulation and superiority were boiling over, bubbling into open contempt. Who's gonna believe a bunch of criminals? We all just stood there. No one said anything. We didn't have to. He was doing it to himself. Then a new voice cut through the tension. I'm not a criminal. Everyone turned. A woman I didn't recognize stepped forward, holding her phone up. I'm Josie, she said calmly. I'm a social worker. I've been following this story online. Jordan blinked, confused. I came to see for myself, she added, and then raised her phone a little higher. I recorded everything. Clear audio. Multiple angles. You can stop pretending now. Jordan's whole body went rigid. He looked around, realizing his mistake. His bravado faltered. I was just angry, he stammered. I didn't mean. I was being sarcastic. You know, just venting. But it was too late. We had him, on tape, from multiple angles, clearly admitting everything. There was no walking that back. Jordan bolted, stormed off like a kid who lost a game. Practically ran to his car. None of us chased him. We didn't have to. We just stood there in silence. Not celebrating. Just processing. Letting it sink in. We'd done it. We had real proof. Undeniable. The kind that doesn't get brushed off or explained away. That night, our group chat lit up. Everyone was buzzing, sharing recordings, syncing time codes, checking angles, comparing audio quality. We backed up everything. Cloud drives. External hard drives. I even burned a few copies to disks, just in case. Josie offered to help us sort it all. I know people, she said. Lawyers, advocates, journalists. People who'll care. People who'll help. But Jordan wasn't finished. The next morning, Jenna texted a photo. Her car windshield, shattered. Glass everywhere. An hour later, Tessa called, frantic. My mom's getting calls again, she said, voice trembling. Blocked numbers. Threats. They said they're going to come to the house. Wesley messaged us. His social media accounts had been hacked. Someone sent messed up stuff to my boss. My aunt. Even my old high school coach. Jordan was unraveling, lashing out at anyone close to us. Trying to scare us into silence. But now it was desperate. Sloppy. Dangerous. At work, my supervisor called me into his office again. Shut the door behind me. This is the second time, he said, uneasy. Someone's calling corporate, saying you've got a violent past, that you've threatened people. He looked me in the eye. I don't believe it. But HR's asking questions. My stomach dropped. Years of rebuilding, my job, my reputation, my life, slipping through my fingers again, all because of Jordan's lies. Later that afternoon, Tessa called again, this time barely holding it together. Aaron called. She whispered. Someone pushed him down a flight of stairs. My hands clenched. He said next time it won't just be stairs. I could hear her mom crying in the background. Tessa's voice cracked. Maybe we should stop, she said. It's not worth it if my brother gets hurt. If something happens to him. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to agree, but I couldn't argue with that either. And then, something shifted. 2 days later, Aaron called again. But this time, it was different. Inmates are watching my back now, he said. A few of them came to me, said they'd seen everything. Online. They know what's going on. I heard the change in his voice, strength where there used to be fear. They're protecting me. Said they've dealt with guys like Jordan before. Told me not to back down. Even inside those walls, the truth mattered. Solidarity mattered. While Jordan spiraled, Aaron found support in the unlikeliest place. Meanwhile, outside, Jordan's life was coming apart. His social media turned chaotic, rants about conspiracies, about being framed, about the world being out to get him. People started backing away. Friends unfollowed. His job? Gone. His landlord kicked him out after multiple complaints. Even his own mother stopped defending him in public. The isolation he had weaponized against others had come full circle. But we weren't done. Not yet. We didn't want just social fallout. We wanted justice. For Aaron. Still sitting in prison. For something he didn't do. Josie connected us with a new legal team, real pros. People who actually cared, people who specialized in wrongful convictions. Not just lawyers, but fighters. People who understood how the system chews people up and spits them out. They reviewed Aaron's case, line by line, and told us what we'd been dying to hear. This is strong, one of them said during the first call. Really strong. With what you've gathered, we can file for immediate review. Maybe even get the conviction tossed entirely. It would take time. The wheels of justice are slow. But for the first time in years, Tessa had real hope. You could hear it in her voice. She wasn't carrying everything alone anymore. Then Jordan made one last desperate move. It was a Wednesday, mid-afternoon. Tessa's mom was home alone. Jordan showed up at the door. He shoved his way inside. No warning. Tessa told me about it right after it happened, still shaking. He was manic, she said. Pacing. Rambling. Saying we were ruining his life. That he could fix it. That if we just dropped everything, he'd make it right. Her mom didn't flinch. She grabbed the bat from behind the door. Tessa said. Told him to get out. When he didn't move, she dialed 911 right in front of him. Jordan panicked. Took off before the cops arrived. But it was enough. The police issued a warrant, breaking and entering, criminal trespass, intimidation. They picked him up 2 days later. His bail was set sky high. No one came to get him. Not his friends. Not even his mom. For the first time, he was on the inside. Really on the inside. Sitting in county jail, waiting to be judged. No lies to hide behind. No friends to throw under the bus. And then, more people came forward. People we hadn't even found. Victims from years ago. From other towns. Other schools. One by one, their stories matched the same sick pattern. Each one more damning than the last. The prosecutor got busy. Started building new cases. The robbery that sent me to juvie. The pharmacy break-in that landed Aaron in prison. Cases we'd known, and ones we hadn't. Jordan's whole history was unraveling like a cheap, threadbare sweater. We started meeting online every week. Our group. Once victims. Now something more. A network. A lifeline. Some of us still reeling. Some finally healing. It wasn't just about Jordan anymore. It was about rebuilding our lives. Taking back our futures. Making sure no one else went through what we had. Jenna went back to school. Finished her degree. Darla launched a business. Something small. Handmade. Beautiful. Wesley. He started working with a youth justice nonprofit. Turned his pain into purpose. Every one of us trying to reclaim what had been stolen. And then, Aaron's case moved faster than any of us expected. The new evidence, our recordings, timelines, Josie's testimony, everything, it was overwhelming. With Jordan's recent charges piling up, the prosecutor didn't want to wait. They expedited the review. 2 months later, Aaron was released. Tessa sent me a video. Him walking out of the prison gates. She was crying. Her mom was crying. Aaron looked stunned, like the world was too big, too loud. They hugged. All 3 of them. Just stood there in the parking lot like time had stopped. A family made whole again. We all met up, our whole group, for the first time in person. A restaurant. Booths pushed together. Laughter between bites. Relief in every voice. Aaron sat at the end, still a little quiet. eyes scanning the room like he hadn't quite adjusted to being free. But as the night went on, he opened up. "I gave up, you know," he said, voice low but steady. "In there, I thought that was it. I was done. But then, I heard what you all were doing. I saw the stories. And suddenly, I wasn't alone anymore." We didn't know what to say, just nodded. Some of us teared up. I know I did. Jordan's trial came next. Multiple charges. Different courts. He tried to plead out, but the DA wasn't having it. They wanted max sentences. Wanted to make an example. Sound familiar? I said to Tessa one day. Except this time, it's actually deserved. I took the stand. So did Jenna, Darla, Wesley, Tessa, Aaron. One by one, we told our stories. We didn't hold back. The jury listened. Really listened. I saw one of them, an older man, wipe his eyes when Jenna testified. Another juror shook her head in disbelief when Wesley pulled up Jordan's old messages. Jordan's lawyer tried the usual: troubled youth, broken home, mental health. But the evidence was too strong. The pain too real. The jury saw through the act. Like we finally had. Guilty. On all counts. 15 years. Eligible for parole in 7. Jordan cried as the sentence was read. Sobbed really. Said he was sorry. But not for what he'd done, for getting caught. As the bailiff let him out, our eyes met. I felt nothing. Not anger. Not relief. Just empty. Like he'd taken so much from me. There was nothing left for him to steal. We all went our separate ways after that. Stayed in touch, but less often. Life was waiting. I started moving forward. And I got a better job. I started taking night classes. Slowly. Just 1 or 2 at a time. I wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone but myself. After everything that happened, I needed something steady, something forward-looking. It felt good to sit in a room where nobody knew what I'd been through, where I could just be Travis, the guy with a notebook and a second chance. I began rebuilding things, little by little. Relationships with my family, especially my mom. It wasn't easy. There was distance between us that time had hardened, but we started talking more. Honest conversations. Sometimes tense, sometimes awkward, but real. I could feel the cracks closing, trust seeping back in. Then I met Kelly. It wasn't dramatic. Just a conversation at a coffee shop, one I almost didn't have because I was too tired from class. But they smiled, asked if the seat was taken, and we started talking. A week later, we were grabbing dinner. A month later, I realized I'd stopped bracing for the worst every time I got a text. They knew my story. I told them early on, half expecting them to walk. But they didn't. Kelly just looked at me and said, "Everyone deserves second chances. The past doesn't define us unless we let it." That stuck with me. Tessa was doing well too. She'd started studying law, wanted to help other people like her brother. Said our story had opened her eyes to how broken the system really was. "It's scary," she told me once over a late-night call. "How easy it is to destroy someone's life. How hard it is to rebuild it." Aaron struggled at first. Prison changes you. I saw it in his eyes that day at the restaurant. How he watched everyone. How he flinched at sudden movement. But he was trying. He got into therapy, joined support groups, found a job, and eventually a girlfriend. Still had bad days, but more good ones. That mattered. Last Christmas, he sent me a card. Just one line: "Thank you for believing." I'm not the emotional type, but that one broke me. I sat in my car holding the envelope, crying like I hadn't in years. Sometimes I think about Jordan. Wonder if he's really changing in there. If prison is teaching him what it taught me. Or if he's just planning his next move. New marks. New victims. I hope it's the former. But I prepare for the latter. Because that's the thing about people like Jordan, they're everywhere. Schools. Workplaces. Relationships. Always watching. Always calculating. Looking for trust. For weakness. For the opening. And most of them, they never get caught. They move on. Leave wreckage behind. But not always. Sometimes, the truth finds daylight. Sometimes, justice happens. Not easily. Not quickly. But it happens. That's why I'm telling this story. Not for revenge. Not for sympathy. But so maybe someone out there sees the signs. Recognizes the pattern. Speaks up before it's too late. If you've been framed, set up, betrayed, know this. You are not alone. It might take years. It might feel hopeless. But truth surfaces. People will believe you. Document everything. Find allies. Build your case. Keep going. Because somewhere, someone will stand with you. You just have to keep moving until they do. The next few months were quiet. Too quiet. Jordan was serving his time. Most of us were finally breathing again. I was seeing Kelly more regularly. We'd grab takeout after class, talk about books or dumb movies. They made me laugh in ways I hadn't in a long time. Then Tessa called. Her voice had that edge to it, the kind you get when something's not right. "Jordan's cousin Wayne," she said. "He's been asking around. About us. Where we live. About the case." I sat up. "Asking who?" "Jenna's boss," she replied. He showed up outside her work. Just stood there. Watching. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, so I tried to keep it light. Maybe he's just nosy, curious. But Tessa wasn't convinced. Aaron said he's been followed. Same car. 3 days in a row. That got my attention. I told her we'd be careful. Stay alert, but not panic. Then, a week later, I got home and found my apartment door open. Not kicked in. Not damaged. Just ajar. Nothing was missing. Nothing touched. It was worse than if they'd taken something. It was a message. Called my landlord. Nope, he said. Maintenance hasn't been by. No one has access but you. I changed the locks. Again. Added more cameras. Upgraded my system. Started triple-checking windows before bed. Then Jenna messaged the group. Someone had called her job, claimed to be a reference checker. Started asking questions about her mental state, reliability, history of lying. Her boss thought it was weird and told her. The number couldn't be traced. Another ghost. We started putting it together. Jordan, or someone he knew, still pulling strings from inside. Tessa started documenting again. Dates, calls, encounters. We all did. The old fear crept back. The second guessing. The shadows. The silence. Then Darla found something interesting. Jordan had been writing letters. Lots of them. Darla was the one who found out. She'd kept in touch with someone who worked in the prison mailroom, and one night, she texted the group chat. He's writing to a bunch of guys. Like a dozen. Maybe more. I felt my stomach tighten. She called me that night. They're all young. Some of them barely out of high school. All of them in trouble. All of them looking for someone to tell them what to do. We filed a formal request through our lawyers. Cited ongoing harassment. Cited Jordan's previous intimidation tactics. Everything we had. It took weeks, but eventually, through proper legal channels, we obtained copies of some of the letters. I remember opening the first one, scanning the words, feeling something colder than anger. It was a sickness. Jordan wasn't just reflecting on his past, he was teaching it, turning it into curriculum. He wrote about how to find marks, how to gain their trust, how to set them up, how to walk away clean. It was like a manual, a handbook for manipulation. And he wrote about us too. Said we were jealous losers. Said we'd conspired against him. Said he was the victim, that we were the villains. He was rewriting everything, building a version of himself where he was the misunderstood hero, unfairly persecuted by a mob of failures. Tessa called me. We have to stop him, she said. He's spreading this like it's gospel. I know, I said. But how? None of it's technically illegal. Our lawyer confirmed it. Writing letters? Not a crime. Teaching manipulation? Still not a crime. Until someone acted on those words, it was protected as free speech. We were stuck, watching him build a network from behind bars, watching him spread his poison with stamps and envelopes. Then one day, I got an email. Subject line, I need to talk. It was from a kid named Arthur, 19. Said he'd been corresponding with Jordan for months. Thought he was getting guidance, advice, help. But the letters had started to change. He told me to frame these guys at school. Arthur said when we got on a call. Said if I didn't strike first, they'd come for me. Told me to plant stuff in their lockers. Get them kicked out. His voice shook. Not with fear, more like disbelief. I almost did it, he whispered. I was so close. What stopped you? I asked. I Googled him, he said. Found your site. Read everything. Arthur sent us all the letters. The originals. The envelopes. He wanted to help. Said he felt used. Groomed. He was turning me into the next him, he said. We added Arthur's letters to the archive. Reached out to the others Jordan had been writing. It wasn't easy. Some ignored us. Some told us to back off. But a few listened. A few had that same shocked realization. They weren't the only one. They weren't special. Just the next tool. But some were already too deep. One guy, Joe, had already acted on Jordan's advice. Framed his college roommate for substance possession. Got him expelled. He bragged about it in his letters to Jordan. We tried to contact the roommate. Tried to help. But without evidence, there was nothing we could do. The damage was done. That was the problem. Jordan had found a way to keep hurting people. To keep creating versions of himself from behind bars. We'd stopped him, but not his reach. Not his legacy of harm. I met with our lawyer again, frustrated. There's got to be something, I said. He's turning these kids into weapons. She sighed. Unless he tells someone to commit a specific crime, and they follow through, there's no case. Ideas aren't illegal. It's not enough. The same system that failed us before was failing us again. But then, Wayne made a mistake. Aaron called Tessa, voice tight, low. Wayne came to me. In the yard. She put him on speaker so I could hear. He offered me money, Aaron said. Said if I recanted, if I told everyone I lied, things would get easier. My heart started pounding. He said Jordan could make my life better in here. Aaron continued. Said if I just told the court that Travis and the others pressured me into testifying, everything would go away. Did you say anything back? I asked. I recorded it, Aaron said. We both froze. Wait, what? He repeated it, Calmer this time. I recorded the whole thing. Wayne admitted Jordan sent him. Admitted there was a plan to flip the case, sue all of you, say you made it up. Tessa let out a breath like she'd been holding it for years. The next morning, we took the recording to the prosecutors. Witness tampering, obstruction of justice, conspiracy, real charges, with real consequences. They arrested Wayne 2 days later. Wayne folded immediately. As soon as the prosecutors put the pressure on, he gave up everything: names, letters, conversations, phone logs. But the biggest piece? Proof. Concrete proof that Jordan was directing operations from inside the prison. That was it. That was what finally pushed them to act. They moved Jordan to solitary, restricted his communications, monitored his calls, cut off every single avenue he had to manipulate, threaten, or reach anyone on the outside. And just like that, his network crumbled. Without his constant hand, the letters stopped. The harassment ended. But the damage had already been done. Joe's roommate, he never went back to school, just dropped out altogether. And then there was Jonathan, another kid we hadn't known about until it was too late. He'd been expelled after someone planted stolen items in his locker, another Jordan tactic passed down by letter. 2 more lives. Derailed. Jordan's influence was like a virus. Quiet, invisible, and far-reaching, even from behind bars. That's when we decided to expand the website. We added a new section, recognizing manipulation, warning signs, red flags, resources for victims. Kelly helped redesign the whole thing. She was amazing, kept the layout clean, user-friendly, optimized it so it would show up on searches. She said, "Let's make it easy for people to find help. Let's not make them dig." The site exploded, thousands of visits, shares, emails. And not just about Jordan. People started sharing their own stories. Their own Jordan, the coworker who gaslit them, the friend who framed them, the partner who played the victim after doing the damage. We didn't expect it to become a community, but it did. A support network. Then local schools started reaching out, inviting us to speak, asking if we could share our story, teach students how to protect themselves, how to spot manipulation before it buried them. Jenna was incredible. She had this calm, clear way of explaining things. Took all her pain and turned it into something powerful. The first time I spoke, I was terrified. Standing in front of 100 high school students, hands sweating, voice shaking, reliving the worst night of my life. But I did it. I told them what happened. And then I saw their faces, some nodding, some crying, some looking down like they were connecting the dots. It mattered. One girl came up after, probably 15, said quietly, "My friend's doing stuff like that, setting people up, pretending to cry when they get caught." She looked scared. We talked. I gave her resources. Told her, write everything down. Find others. You're not alone. A month later she emailed me. They exposed her friend. Got them help. Prevented more damage. She thanked me. Said our story gave her courage. I cried that night. This became our new normal, speaking, teaching, preventing. Taking all that trauma and turning it into something that meant something. It wasn't healing, not exactly. But it was purpose. Jordan tried one last appeal. Said his lawyer was incompetent. Claimed he hadn't been defended properly. It didn't matter. The appeal was denied. The evidence was overwhelming. His own voice, on tape, damning himself. No parole. No early release. 15 years, full term. Then, one day, I went to see him. I don't know why. Curiosity maybe. Closure. He looked different, smaller, in orange, older, like something in him had deflated. The confidence was gone. The swagger evaporated. He was just another inmate now. Another number. He tried to manipulate me, even then. Started slow. I found faith, Travis. I've changed. I want to make amends. His voice soft, remorseful, too practiced. Then came the apology. I'm sorry. For everything. I really mean it. I said nothing. Just watched. Let him talk. Let him perform. I saw it, as clear as day, every beat of the old act. Every calculated pause. Every teardrop that wasn't real. When he finally stopped, I stood up. I forgive you, I said. Not for you. For me. He blinked, confused. I've got better things to do with my energy. I added. I won. I rebuilt. I survived. His expression twisted, shocked first. Then angry. Then desperate. You owe me that, he spat. Without me, you'd still be nothing. I made you stronger. You should be grateful. There it was. The same old manipulation. The same old games. I left without responding. I never went back. Never thought about him much after that. He'd taken enough of my time, my energy, my life. I was done giving him space in my head. Done letting him matter. The website kept growing. What started as a simple evidence dump became something else, bigger. A resource. A warning system. People started posting about potential manipulators. Others would chime in, confirming patterns, sharing experiences. We hadn't meant to, but we'd created something powerful. An early warning system. A network of survivors protecting future victims. Kelly and I moved in together. It wasn't much, just a small apartment above a coffee shop, but it was ours. They filled it with plants, insisting each one needed a name. I started collecting books again, something I hadn't done in years. And pictures, photos of good times, small moments, simple things. New memories replacing old trauma. Building something healthy. Something real. Tessa, she graduated law school. Passed the bar. Now works on wrongful conviction cases. She once told me, "I'll never forget what we went through. What Aaron suffered. I want to make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else." And she's done it. Helped free 3 people so far. 3 lives saved. 3 futures restored. Aaron's doing better too. He's got his own place now. A steady job. Still goes to therapy, but not as often. Last week, he sent me a photo. Him and his girlfriend at the beach. Big grins. Hair windblown. Eyes squinting into the sun. He looked free. He is free. Jenna teaches full-time now, high school psychology. She uses her experience in every lesson. Teaches her students about healthy relationships, red flags, trusting their instincts. They love her. Call her real. Authentic. Someone who gets it. And they're right. She does. Darla's business is thriving. She hired 2 people last month, both survivors, both folks who'd been overlooked. She said, "If the world won't give second chances, I will." She's creating something positive from something negative. Turning pain into possibility. Wesley works with at-risk youth now. Counseling. Mentoring. Helping them see better paths. "If I can help just one kid avoid someone like Jordan," he told me, "all those sleepless nights will have meant something." Even Josie stayed involved. She helped design a training program for social workers, teaching them how to spot manipulation, how to protect vulnerable kids, how to interrupt the pattern before it becomes tragedy. We still meet, from time to time. Not as often. Not urgently. Just as friends. Bonded by what we went through. But not defined by it. We laugh more than we cry. Talk about futures more than pasts. Celebrate victories more than mourn losses. Last week marked 5 years since my arrest. The night that changed everything. I didn't even remember until Tessa texted me. That felt like a victory too. Time dulling the anniversary, making it just another day. I'm writing this now from my new office. Yeah, I have an office. Working in IT security. Turns out, being paranoid about documentation makes you really good at data protection. Who knew trauma could become job skills? Kelly just brought me coffee. Kissed my forehead. "Don't forget we have dinner plans," they said, grinning. Normal stuff. Regular life. The kind I thought I'd never have. The kind Jordan tried to steal. The kind I fought to reclaim. Sometimes, new people find the site. They reach out, share their stories, ask for help. We respond when we can. Point them toward resources. Connect them with others. We keep the network growing. Keep the support flowing. Because that's the thing about surviving something like this. You want to help others survive too. You want to spare them the pain, the years lost, the faith destroyed. You want to be the person you needed when you were drowning. Jordan gets out in 2 years. We know, but we're ready. The network is stronger now. The documentation better. The support system solid. He'll find a very different world than the one he left. One where his tricks are known, his patterns recognized, his power diminished. But that's a future worry. Not today. Today, I have code to write. Kelly to love. Friends to meet. A life to live. A real life. Built on truth. Sustained by connection. Protected by wisdom earned the hard way. Sometimes, I drive past that gas station. The one where it all started. Where my world collapsed in the blink of a moment. It's a coffee shop now. Gentrification or whatever. I stop sometimes. Get a latte. Sit at the window where I was cuffed and loaded into a squad car. I think about how far I've come. How much I've survived. How much I've built. Then I finish my coffee. Get back in my car. Drive home to my life. My real life. The one I chose. The one I earned. The one nobody can take away. Because I have the receipts. The evidence. The truth. And an army of survivors who've got my back. That's my story. Our story. Still being written. Still unfolding. But the hardest chapters are behind us. The villain defeated. The victims victorious. The pattern broken. The future? Ours to write. Thanks for reading. Share if it helps. Reach out if you need to. Document everything. Trust your gut. Find your people. Fight back. Survive. Thrive. Win. And remember, they're out there. The Jordans of the world. But so are we. The survivors. The fighters. The ones who see through the lies. Who stand up. Who speak out. Who refuse to be victims. Who refuse to let them win. We're everywhere now. Watching. Warning. Waiting. Ready. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.